Hello and welcome to Salubrious Skin with Dr. Irene. Now, recently I did a blog post on adrenal health and the focus on the impact it has on our digestive system. And it was prompted by a lot of social media posts that I see, a lot of conversations I have in clinic and also in my personal life, and the whole urgency around getting gut health right, or improving upon gut health. And although it's true, you know, I certainly believe it. Chinese medicine has taught me to believe it. I see it in my clinic. I've personally experienced it, that our digestion is the powerhouse to our entire body. We really need a really good digestion, and that will keep us as healthy. It will allow us to gain the nutrients from our food, energize us, fuel our body, give us the nutrients it needs to function day to day, keep us as healthy as possible, and so on. So certainly I agree with having a healthy gut microbiome, having good digestion, eating in a way that enhances this, having probiotics and all that sort of thing. I certainly agree with it. But it's actually it goes a lot deeper. There are more layers. You know, our body, I say this sometimes I say our body is actually very intelligent and should be looked at from the perspective that it knows what it's doing, but it's also very complicated. And the truth is, medicine only knows a drop in the ocean as far as the health and the body's concerned. And when we always just focus on gut health, there could be something else that we're missing, or what has prompted the gut health to be compromised. You know, where's it all coming from? It doesn't just happen overnight. Don't just wake up one day with digestion issues. This is all manifested from something that we've either been exposed to, we've experienced, you know, genetics, various variables involved. So what I wanted to talk today about is the adrenal health. And in actual fact, the adrenals and their normal functioning will have positive impact on the digestion, and its weakness or unhealthy functioning will have a negative effect on the digestion. Now, our adrenals are little glands situated on top of our kidneys, and as the name says, adrenal sits on top of the kidney and releases various stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, and is involved in other systems, releases DHEA. DHEA is a precursor to manufacture of our hormones. So it's very important to our healthy functioning. Now, when we are stressed, we actually release cortisol. As we know, I think it's kind of a very common understanding that when we're stressed, we get adrenaline, we get cortisol, and that is all really prompted to get us out of the stressful situation safely and as quick as possible. So when we're stressed, we need to either run or fight. And the adrenaline and cortisol gives us the ability, hopefully, to overcome those stressful situations. Now, our body doesn't know that we're stressed because we have a 2:00 deadline and it's 1:00 and we haven't even started our project, or that we're going to, you know, start a new job today and we're stressed because of the uncertainty around what we're about to face. So anything new that we do creates this stress response. So a new behavior will get this sympathetic nervous system response to occur. And as a result, we get the cortisol and adrenaline released. Now, when the stress passes, the cortisol and adrenaline go back into their home and sort of sit around until needed again. When we're dealing with long-term stress, or it's been a very intense amount of stress, what can happen in some circumstances is our adrenals will struggle. So what will happen, our cortisol levels, instead of rising because we're feeling stressed, they start to deplete. And then that upsets the balance within the adrenal functioning. And over a period of time, we can get the cortisol levels drop, the adrenaline drop, the DHEA drop, And what happens is what called adrenal fatigue. And so people will experience all sorts of things as a result. So typically what would happen when our adrenals aren't healthy is that we can have thyroid issues, we can have hormonal imbalances, we can have food intolerances, digestive issues, autoimmune diseases, all manifesting from the adrenal health. So that is why it's very important, where you might have a digestive issue and you think it's a gut health issue, which it is, but it's a consequence of the adrenal health. So what happens is that we focus on all these presenting symptoms and syndromes, diseases, whatever manifests, we're focusing on that. We need to fix that, the autoimmune disease, the thyroid imbalance, whatever it is, we're focusing on getting that right, seeing various doctors, various practitioners of different modalities, trying to resolve this issue. But what happens is if we're missing the point and not fixing the adrenal health, what happens is we get a roller coaster ride of benefit and disease. So we might find our condition improves, we start feeling good, we start feeling on top of the world again. Then for whatever reason, these symptoms reimmerse and we get onto this roller coaster ride. When we miss the adrenal health and not treat that in addition to whatever else has manifested, then we're going to be going back and forth. When we are treating adrenal health and are treating the problems or the symptoms, diseases that are manifesting, we get resolution. So it's very important to understand that it's not always just about gut health. It's always asking yourself, where has this manifested from? Where's the beginning? Where does it start? And that's with any health issue. We don't just get sick overnight. We don't just feel unwell overnight. There's always a process to this manifestation process. So with regards to any condition, there's a story, there's always symptoms, there's always feeling unwell, not yourself, fatigue, emotionally distressed, whatever it is, not sleeping well, knowing that there's all these various circumstances around you that are prompting it, we need to really make those changes to eliminate that emotional impact it has. So like I said, whether you're being chased by a lion or you've got a deadline at 2 o'clock for a project that you haven't even started, the body doesn't differentiate the two. It just does what it needs to do to deal with a stressful situation. So you have to ask yourself, what's the timeline of events that has occurred that has led me to where I am today? For instance, if you're struggling with a skin problem or even hormonal issues, you might be going through menstrual irregularities, or you might be menopausal and experiencing symptoms there. That's the sort of thing you ask yourself, what's transpired over the last 10 years, 20 years? Because adrenal health doesn't just simply rectify. This might have happened decades ago, and then in that process of it not being rectified, other things have gotten out of whack and presented and brought your awareness to more so than what the adrenals would have. Because often we'll soldier on. If we're feeling tired, we have a cup of coffee. If we're feeling a bit down, we have a drink. If we're not feeling great, we've got indigestion, heartburn, we'll have an antacid. Our bodies are always giving us various indications that it's not feeling 100%, but we have a lot of options available to us to override that. If we can't sleep, we have a sleeping tablet. If we've got a headache, we'll have a painkiller. All these are strong indications of a disharmony or an imbalance in the body that needs your attention. So when left untreated, things just get worse, illnesses manifest, and when you get to that state, it's much more difficult to address as opposed to preventative care. We all experience stress in our life. We all experience ups and downs. It's part of life, having challenges. Those challenges are there to help you through whatever you need to get through, and not necessarily looking at it as gosh, if only I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have this end result. I could have said the same. if only I didn't go to Greece when I was 11, I wouldn't have had psoriasis. But I guarantee you, knowing the person I am, knowing the way my diet was at the time, not from what I was eating at home, but what I was eating at school and after school, hidden from my parents, my diet was very high sugar, high carb, high refined food. You know, I was a stress head. I worried a lot. You know, that's kind of, you know, a lot of kids do that. That's who they are. They worry a lot for various circumstances, and as a result, a disease manifested. So it's not necessarily looking at a circumstance that has brought about an unwanted effect. That effect may have transpired in a different circumstance, and not necessarily looking at what's happened, but we're looking at what's contributed to that. You know, how can I change the things that I've done in the past to give me a different outcome for the future? And also, you know, understanding the way the body works is really important. And that's essentially what these podcasts are all about, trying to bring your awareness to, you know, a very small snippet of what the body's doing. Obviously, they're very general conversations I'm having with you. So obviously seeing someone who is a functional medicine practitioner who understands the role of the adrenals in the manifestation of various diseases is a great way to go down the track of. There are various tests you can do that check your adrenal health, cortisol, adrenaline, and DHEA at various times of the day, and that will give insight into what your body's doing. There's also a lot of herbs that you can take that will improve your adrenal health, and for this reason, because it's a very common topic that I discuss in clinic for the last 15 years, really. For that reason, I changed the Serenity of our herbal tea range to be focused on the adrenal health. So if you look at the new Serenity, the tea bags, the organic tea bags, that is a formulation of adaptogens, which adaptogens are suitable for improving adrenal health. The formulation of that Serenity is specifically for adrenal function. Now, you can take it even if you don't have tests that are identifying any adrenal health issues. It's more for people that are feeling exhausted, stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, not coping, feel like the world's caving in. That sensation is going to affect your adrenals. And so what we've had feedback from people consuming this, and also I can give herbs similarly to this formulation as well, is people tell me that their stresses haven't changed, but their coping ability has changed. And that's essentially what you do. We can't change your stress, but we can help manage your way of dealing with stress in so that you can do your day-to-day activity without consuming you and overwhelming you. So the Serenity of the new formulation is the one that's really focused on the adaptogens. The old formulation is focused more on the liver and working on the stress from that perspective. So that's it for today. I really thought, with the conversation that I've had with various people post blog posts that I put up, I think a week ago, I thought it would be fitting to do a podcast on this as well, because sometimes people prefer to listen than have a read, and it's really important. Like I said, gut health is essential. It's a powerhouse to your entire body, but the adrenals impact your gut health. So looking at where things start and where you are now is really the process of healing the body and bringing it back to a wellness state, resolving that issue that's transpired over that period of time. So if you've got any questions, please leave them below. If you want to reach out, you can reach out to me at info@salubre.com.au. And if there's anything else that you want to hear about, more about adrenal health, or any concerns you have personally and you don't want to put it up publicly on this forum, you can certainly email me and let me know, and I'll be happy to do a podcast on that inquiry that you have. So stay tuned for our next episode. We're getting back into the swing of things for 2019, getting out the weekly podcasts, and be sure to share it with any friends that you think will benefit from such a podcast, because this is something that's quite a common and widespread problem. So you might find that you might be able to help someone who's going through a tough time, whether they're dealing with emotions or health issues. This might be something that they will need to explore further to see if this is a reason for their ill health manifesting. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and great to have you listening to my podcast episodes. And like I said, be sure to connect if you need anything further to assist you in your journey of better health. Bye for now.